Ever crack open a fortune cookie that just makes you go, whoa, deep thoughts on a Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Well, get ready for that feeling because today we're diving into the mind of Albert Pike, this super influential Masonic writer from the 1800s. You with me?
Pike's work is full of these intriguing ideas that really make you think differently about, well, life, the universe, and everything.
Right. And today we're focusing on his views on work. Because get this, he called Masonry the apotheosis of work.
Well, it's not exactly everyday language.
Okay, pause for dramatic effect. Apotheosis. Does that word just roll off everyone's tongue, or is it just me?
Apotheosis essentially means the highest point, the most perfect form of something. So when Pike calls Masonry that, he's saying it embodies the very essence of work elevated to its most noble and meaningful form.
Okay, see? That's some next-level fortune cookie wisdom right there. We're talking about his book, Morals and Dogma, specifically the section on the 22nd degree of the Scottish Rite. That's the Knight of the Royal Axe, for those keeping score at home. And this is where Pike gets really philosophical about the deeper meaning of labor.
What's really interesting is that he's not just talking about manual labor, like swinging a hammer or tilling a field. He's talking about all forms of effort, mental, physical, even spiritual, as this driving force in the universe.
So like that to-do list I'm constantly adding to that's cosmic energy in action, I knew it.
In a way, yes. Pike believed that our capacity for work, for striving and creating, is what makes us human. It connects us to this larger process of growth and evolution that's happening all around us.
Whoa. So we're not just along for the ride, we're active participants in this whole cosmic unfolding thing.
Exactly. And this is where the concept of the Grand Architect comes in. Now, the Grand Architect is a central figure in Masonic thought. It represents this divine creative force that set the universe in motion. But what Pike seems to suggest is that we, through our own work, become kind of like co-creators with the Grand Architect, helping to shape and build the world around us.
Okay, mind officially blown. So if work is this fundamental principle, does that mean Pike thought everyone should be out there, chopping wood and building things with their bare hands?
Not necessarily. Remember, he defined work very broadly. It's not just about physical labor. It's about applying ourselves to tasks that challenge us, that require us to grow and learn, and that ultimately contribute to something larger than ourselves. And that something larger could be anything from building a business to raising a family to creating art to volunteering in our communities.
So it's less about the what of the work and more about the WHY and the HW. It's about the intention and the effort we bring to the task at hand.
Exactly. And that's where we start to see the real heart of Pike's philosophy. He believed that a life of ease, of comfort without effort, ultimately leads to stagnation and even moral decay.
He had some pretty strong words about those who just coast through life seeking pleasure and comfort. I found that part pretty interesting. It's like he was saying, look, we're not put on this earth to just kick back and relax. We're here to strive, to overcome challenges, to make our mark on the world.
He did. He really wasn't afraid to challenge those norms of his time. Back then there was a real sense of division between people who worked with their hands and people who didn't.
Yeah, like blue collar versus white collar.
Exactly, and manual labor. It wasn't really seen as something for the upper classes.
Oh, totally. If you were rich, you'd have people to do all that for you.
Exactly. But Pike flips that whole idea on its head. He says, true nobility doesn't come from your family name or how much money you have. It comes from the dignity you build through honest work, no matter what kind of work it is.
So it's not about having your name on the door. It's about showing up every day and doing your best.
Exactly. He even says that work itself is a path to self-improvement. He compares it to a sculptor chipping away at a big block of stone, slowly revealing this amazing sculpture inside.
Okay, I like that. So every obstacle we get past, every skill we learn, every project we finish, it shapes us into better people.
That's it. And it's really interesting when you think about the rituals and symbols used in Masonry, especially in the Knight of the Royal Axe degree.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, the Royal Axe itself is a symbol, right? It represents the power to make big changes, but also the focus and skill you need to do it the right way. And the Knights of the Royal Axe, they were seen as protectors of justice, people who used their strength and determination to fight for what's right, to help those in need.
So it's about channeling your inner strength, that drive to create and to give back, and using it to leave your mark.
Yes. And this is where his warnings about wealth and idleness come in. He saw that having wealth wasn't a bad thing in itself, but it could be dangerous if people didn't feel a sense of responsibility that came with it.
He seemed especially worried about people who inherited money, right? Like, If you never had to work for it, you might not value it as much, or you might use it in ways that hurt others.
Yes, he believed that people who inherited wealth had a duty to use it well and to give back to their communities. He warned against just spending it all on yourself or living a life of luxury, and instead said that true happiness comes from living a life of purpose, a life of service to others.
So it's about more than just working to make a buck. It's about working towards something bigger. So it's more than just punching a clock. It's about purpose, right? How do we find that balance of chasing our own dreams and still making the world a better place?
And what I find so compelling about Pike is that he truly believed everyone has something to offer. He said even the smallest things we do, those everyday moments, can be heroic in their own right if we approach them with intention and honesty.
It's like he's saying you don't need a cape and tights to be a hero. It's about the little acts of courage, those simple kindnesses we show each other that build a better future.
Exactly. Every time we put in the effort, every time we choose compassion, every little step we take to leave things better than we found them, it adds up to a more just and caring world. And, he even uses this phrase, invisible temples, to describe it.
Invisible temples, huh? That's pretty out there. How do you interpret that?
It's a bit cryptic, but I think it gets at this idea that the most important work we do often goes unseen. It's the stuff happening behind the scenes, those little acts of service and kindness that laid the groundwork for something much bigger.
So it's like we're building a legacy, but not just for ourselves. It impacts everyone around us, even generations to come.
I think so. And it's recognizing that even seemingly insignificant things have a ripple effect. We're all connected, and those choices we make, however small, they touch the lives of those around us.
Powerful stuff. So to boil it down, Pike believed meaningful work is about aligning what we do with who we are deep down, finding those opportunities to make a difference, and realizing that true fulfillment comes from leaving the world a little brighter than we found it.
Exactly. It's about finding that place where your passions and talents meet the needs of the world. It's about taking pride in hard work, whatever form it takes, and using your own unique gifts to make a positive impact.
That's Albert Pike for you. Surprising, insightful, definitely gives you something to chew on. And that wraps up our deep dive into his fascinating philosophy on work. Remember, our jobs, our efforts, those daily choices we make, they're more than just a paycheck. They're a reflection of who we are, what we stand for, and they contribute to something so much greater than ourselves.
Definitely leaves a lasting impression.
Makes you think, what kind of invisible temples are you building? What will your legacy be? We'll leave you with that thought. Catch you next time.